Started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the One More Rep podcast. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Percher. As always, this video is brought to you by NutriBio Supplements, Crystals, Bikinis, BioLongevity Labs, and RapidRxUSA.com. Check the link in the description. In that link, the school membership forum that I host with Tom Schuster will be there. My coaching inquiry sheet will be there. I am joined by three IFBB pros today. I'm with Mike Condell, Josh Jefferson, Luke Pritchard, and we are talking training. So tons and tons of training questions. Of course, a big part of that is bringing Mike on. I appreciate you making the time. Big theme with the questions was talking about whether it's with small body parts, bringing up weak body parts. People want to know what you think about like pre-exhaust or doing an isolation exercise prior to your big compound. So, just for the viewers, let's use this as an example, right? Like I want to bring my chest up. Are you typically programming, or what do you think about like, I'm going to do a cable fly before my incline press, something like that?
At least from my perspective, I think it's extremely situational and depend on the body part. I almost never tell people to do any of the pre-exhaustion nonsense, like 5 sets of 15 or something dumb, or like go on the pec deck and do like a bunch of squeezes first. Like I built my chest and I had a real problem building my chest. If you go look at my pictures from like my first national show, I was all legs. I didn't build my chest until I got strong as fuck pressing. And I think it's even more applicable when you talk about younger or less experienced trainees, which I assume most of these questions are from. Like, man, at some point you just have to go get strong, right? And like then you'll figure out where your true weaknesses are. But if you've never pushed a chest press and added consecutive weight, I don't think you've done what you need to do to try and grow your chest. Maybe if you don't connect to your chest well and you have trouble getting that feeling in a chest press, all right, maybe a few sets of concentrated flies would help you just for the, some little bit of proprioception. But all of my training philosophy is basically the same for all body parts. Now, if stuff's not growing, specific things aren't growing, we can go other directions, but get on the basics. And when I say basics, I don't mean like go grab a dumbbell over a machine. I mean, do basic movements, even if it's on a machine, right? And get really fucking strong at it over the course of 12, 16, 20, 30 weeks. And I guarantee your shit's going to grow. I think we've got caught in this trap of like wanting to change shit all the time because it doesn't work fast enough. But putting on muscle is not a fast process, man. Like I think everyone here has probably been at this for at least a decade, right? Like it takes time. And especially if that body part's weak, it's going to take more time. You need more patience, not less.
Yeah. Interesting segue, because obviously, Josh, you improved your legs a bunch this past year, but two separate guys noticed and wanted to know what you did to improve your chest, because besides just the legs, they felt like the chest was super obvious this past year. So I'm going to give you the floor and let you talk about it.
Sure. I think that realistically for me, that's actually been over the course of the last like 2 years. And it came from me learning how to actually press with my chest. I didn't, I played football for 17 years. Like I learned how to bench press with my back. Um, like I just threw the fucking weight up. It was not a concentrated trying to press forward. So it came down to like I learned how to actually squeeze my pec through the motion, and it got me much better. I disagree to a degree with the pre-exhaust with Mike. I always start any sort of chest movement with like a cable fly or something like that, just to build that connection first. But that's because I struggled to connect with my chest in a press for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
So,
but I want to highlight that real quick because that's super important. And chest is one of those things like lats, where until you figure out how to do it right, you're kind of just like pounding sand and staying in one place, right? What did you do? What do you mean by you learned to press?
So the best tip I ever got came from like a Martin Fitzwater video where he said to keep your shoulders behind your nipples. And for whatever reason, that just made it click to where like I always just thought about pressing myself into the bench as I like press away. And as soon as I started doing that, it just clicked for me. even down to like pec flies now. Like I push myself into the bench as I'm going into like a pec deck, and that brought my chest to realistically where I think that it's now a stronger point of connection. I feel it so much better. The other obvious one that you know I'm gonna fucking say anyway. I just got really high one night and did like 1,000 chest flies, and it built a pretty solid connection there too.
It's real
Seeing
shit, bro.
the
That's
yo,
a
the
new one. I'm
fact
going
that
to
I
add
used to
that to the
sleep.
toolbox.
Yes.
Yeah, I
At
used
the
to
end
sleep
at
at
the
the
end of his
gym.
programs, he gets smacked and do a bunch of flies.
If all else fails, this is the protocol.
When I used to
Uh,
struggle with like delts and chest, I would get high on a Friday night because I'd sleep at the gym because I had to open. Um, and I had a bed in the fucking office. And I would just get really high with my boy, and I would do chest flies and lateral raises until I literally couldn't lift my arms. And the next day I'd wake up and like my chest wouldn't be sore, but I could sure as fuck feel it.
yeah.
So it worked. It did the
Oh,
job.
yeah.
So
Um,
specifically for
yeah,
pressing,
go ahead, Mike.
just to add this note, the biggest critique I make for people in pressing is almost always where their elbow is tracking in relation to their torso, which almost always starts with where they're gripping the machine or the bar. Most people still press with this like massive flare out here, right?
Yeah.
And most of you are going to be front delt dominant from doing this. Set up machines, set up benches, whatever it is, to try and get your elbow somewhere around like 45 to 60 from your torso and keep that wrist and hand inside of your elbow. As soon as it goes like this, you're losing your pec involvement. As soon as you're up here, now it's mostly front delt, and your pec can no longer leverage your rib cage to flex around. Focus on where that elbow's tracking. Make sure your joints are stacked. I promise if you can do that, find that consistent movement and drive that for weeks on end, adding reps or load, your chest is going to fucking grow.
There's something to be said about not always needing. I feel like a lot of people sometimes, especially like newer people to the sport that aren't that trained or don't have that much tissue yet, there's a hyper focus on like needing to feel everything, right?
Yeah.
And there's to a certain degree, bro, if you just put yourself in proper position, like Mike just talked about, like a proper pressing pattern where all your joints are where they need to be and everything's lined up, your chest just physically, like biomechanics, has to work to move that weight. So if you are staying in that position and getting stronger over time, there's no other thing that can occur other than more tissue in your chest.
Right.
Like I use this example a lot of times with like newer clients of mine. Um, I'll be like, okay, what do you feel more, a fucking hack squat or a barbell squat or a leg extension? A leg extension, but you're going
Of
to build
course.
substantially more tissue with the squat. You know what I mean? It's not
Totally.
always about what you feel or whatever, but obviously, there's to a degree, but like people focus on that too much. And at a certain point, if you have a body part that's not growing and you take that approach that Mike's talking about and just getting in proper like position and forcing growth through increasing load and increasing mechanical tension, like it's going to happen as long as you're not compensating.
Yeah. And pec is the only thing for this, but plenty of people will start their set in a great position, but like chest specifically, you might start pressing here. I can guarantee by the time you get to your last 2 reps, now you're like this. You're just forcing shit up, and there's no pec. Like you can sit in your chair and do this, and where is the tension? Right? It's not your pec.
Yeah.
So it's not just starting there; it's finishing there, and that driving that motor pattern takes conscious effort. Doesn't matter with the body part. You might have to take a step forward or step backward, reduce the intensity, drive in that motor pattern, and then start to progress. And I think the idea of taking a step back kind of throws a lot of people off, but it works every single fucking time when there's a weak body part.
That's why training videos are so important too.
I think that's such a good point. Like, people think that they're training hard and they get to that point where the actual target muscle is fatigued and then things start going awry. And like you said, it almost takes a step back from what they think is intensity to learn to just stay on the muscle. And then when you do that through the end of a set, that is actually, like, we call it all the time, like accuracy or intensity, right? Like it's like accurate intensity. And then I think just another thing I wanted to reiterate for the audience was something like all of you guys are talking about, but to summarize it, we've talked about, and I don't want to sound like we're contradicting ourselves, but we have talked about that in some instances, the mind to muscle connection is hugely important. But it's like, it depends, I think, not only body part to body part, but it's like very movement specific. Like if you can't feel a leg extension, something is off.
Yeah.
If you get to the point where you're barbell squatting 405, I'm not expecting you to feel every fiber in your quad, every inch of the movement.
Yeah.
It's totally like movement dependent.
Yeah.
No, but all that, I love all that. That's, I think, really, really valuable stuff. Okay, simple one, but this is a good one. A lot of guys write in about the arm day. So for an athlete who needs to bring up everything, arm day or no arm day, and why?
Anyone else want to take one first?
Yeah, anybody go.
I go. I'm a believer in arm days. Just in general, I think. I just think they're not very, systematically taxing. So like, it's not something like an extra leg day that you have to put in or an extra back day. I feel like every time people take the approach where it's like, okay, we're going to do upper, lower, or push, pull leg or whatever to build all this tissue across your whole body. Once that happens, then they're missing arms like every single time. Um, I don't think like I said, it doesn't need to be something like you can do arms and touch up on another body part on that day too or something. But like, I think the tacking on arms, and I do both. I tack on arms at the end of sessions, and then I'll have my own arm day as well because they can handle higher frequency. I think when you solely just tack on arms at the end of body parts, there is no denying that they do not get the attention they deserve. And it's half-ass effort. Even when you're trying not to, it's just simply always going to be half-ass effort just because the tank's fucking empty at that point. And like, I mean, I barely get an arm pump at the end of a fucking chest day or back
big
day,
bull day,
whatever.
pull
You
day
know
or
what I
something.
mean? Yeah. But when I go in and I start with arms and I train arms, they swell the fuck up. And that's training arms sucks, but getting a pump is fun. So like that's kind of my philosophy. I just feel like at some point, even if you start with the, more frequent, bigger sessions, it always comes back around to, well, I got to add an arm day now. So I don't see what the harm is in just adding it from the beginning.
I just want to cut you off. I think that is one of the biggest things that limits people with arms is that I hear it so often. It's like, oh man, arms are so boring. I hate to train arms.
Yeah.
It looks like you hate to train arms, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You have no
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah.
It's part of the resume. If you're getting on a bodybuilding stage, it's part of the resume.
That's the thing too.
Like, dude, when did it become not cool to have cannon arms?
Bro, I know. That's what I was gonna say. I think it started. I love the guy. He's one of the guys I learned a ton from. But like JP,
don't go there, lad. Don't go there.
And the UK crew, bro, they started just slamming arm days like negatively, like flaming the fuck out of arm days. And now everyone was like afraid if you're not
it's
already
not hardcore, right? If you're not weighing your food raw.
Yeah. And it's like if you're not already fucking 300 pounds, then you shouldn't have an arm day. And I'm like, bro, big arm, you can't have two big arms.
Samson has an arm day.
Yeah, there's no such thing as two big arms in bodybuilding. You can have two big legs, you can have two big whatever. You can't
Delts, never arms.
Yeah, never arms. So like, why the fuck not? Like, even if you are like, you still have to build the tissue, bro. So like, let's say you're a beginner, you got no muscle, but you've got fucking 23-inch arms. You're still gonna look pretty good.
Bro, I have seen guys win shows with a set of big quads and a set of big arms.
Yeah, bro,
nothing else.
because they make, and I wanted to say this too, like, you look at, well, I won't use any names, but like a lot of times with athletes, big ass, like those body parts, arms and quads specifically, obviously everything kind of does, because I could go on about back and shoulders too, but like they really accentuate your taper, bro. Like
that's
if
the X.
If you've got a waist that is like kind of big arms are what's going to make it not look that bad.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of what happened to Jordan in Italy. Was I think like his waist is kind of so-so, and I don't think his arms were full. I don't think they're great in general. They're one of his weaker body parts. Yeah. He's brought them up, but they're still a weaker body part for him. And I don't think they were full enough, and his arms look small and his waist looked big. And I think if his arms were twice the size, his waist wouldn't have looked as bad as it did. So there's no harm, even if you are a beginner, in having an arm day and letting your arms swell the fuck up. If they grow too much, then I guess you can back it off. You know, like Nick Walker doesn't need arm days anymore, but like
He's the only person on planet Earth.
exactly. But like that's my point. He's the only fucker on planet Earth that doesn't need an arm day. Like you can afford an arm day, homie.
Yeah. I have people doing just about everything you can imagine for arms. I've got people with primarily arm days with little delts at the end. It's all extremely situation dependent. The one thing I want to pull on, and what you prompt us with, Joe, is that if they need to grow everything, should you have an arm day? And I think that if you need to grow everything, I think you're too early on in this journey to be getting so specific that you're going to modify your split to have an arm day. And I tend to work with people that are a little more advanced, at least on the training side, or like, knowledge wise. So the big thing I've been a fan of recently, specifically, Luke, because you mentioned, like, if you throw a set of biceps at the end of pull day, like, yeah, it's some meaningful work, but how much gas do you have left in the tank?
Yeah.
Both of my leg days start with arms because I'm fresh, because they're not taxing my CNS, and I can just go train legs. And now I got an arm pump too, and I look sick. And then I'll hit bis and tris a third time each, either on an upper day or on a push and a pull day, respectively. So now I'm getting a bit of both. And I have quite a few people doing that with some success. I've only have one client that I've ever told, like, you're done with arms, so right now, because we need to grow everything else. But I think the most important part of that question is looking at your whole physique and, like, where is the best use of your time? And I think it doesn't matter if it's arms or legs or anything that's one of those things that's going to load a smaller joint a lot, like arms, like quads. You can't train quads 4 times a week. And even if you can recover from it muscle wise, you're going to fuck your knees up. Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen the same with arms. Like, if you go train arms, higher volume, higher intensity, you're going to have elbow issues. And if your training's not dialed, then you're probably getting shoulder issues too.
Yep.
So now it becomes a game of, like, okay, how do I sprinkle this volume in with appropriate frequency and enough stimulus to get the growth? And that's honestly, I think, part of the art of helping people program training is, like, okay, we have a goal we need to reach based on where your weaknesses and strengths are. How do you arrange the whole week so that the stuff that doesn't need to accelerate gets enough stimulus to stay? The stuff that needs a ton of attention, we're getting enough of without degrading anything else or, like, putting you in a hole. And there's a lot of ways to do that. But anyone who's, like, specifically against an arm day, I feel like that's a new, like, science-based bullshit, like, cop out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh, you can't possibly just train arms for it. Like, yes, you fucking can. And everyone in this group chat, and almost everyone I know that's had any success, probably at one point or another, or the whole time, ran an arm day. Right? I've done 30 set arm days.
Yeah.
We've all done that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what it takes to grow.
That's because science faggot. Sorry, science, whatever. They don't believe in the pump, bro. That's the thing. They think the pump.
They
is
don't
bullshit.
believe in it.
Which, yes, I guess by studies, blah blah blah, whatever. But there's value in it. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Bro, how can science quantify whether or not something is completely sick or not? Like,
yeah,
it can't.
exactly.
So,
that's facts too.
Josh, talk to me about your arm theories or your arm progression. You recently have an arm day as a big priority.
Yeah, I fucking hate training arms. I literally sat there when Mike was like, "Oh yeah, we've all had 30 set arm days." I was like, "Bro, I haven't trained arms since I was 16." I would prefer to tack it on to, like, the end of a push-pull legs. Like, I would rather train arms every day and do 4 sets than have an arm day. But this is easily the most amount of fun I think I've ever had with training arms. Probably
Watch your arms grow, though. Watch your arms grow.
They're growing.
Shit, they grew from fucking injecting GH into my triceps. That did the most fucking difference. But genuinely, I think that now that I have the goal of, I know that my arms need to come up, that's helping a lot more.
Right.
Whereas before I was always like, you know what, I have good biceps. My triceps suck. They're always going to suck. Mainly because my elbows were just shot. But
Yeah.
now my theory with arms is, honestly, I don't track a single fucking thing with them. My entire goal is to pump the absolute shit out of them. And I rest for maybe like 35 to 45 seconds. The entire workout, realistically, if I don't have to answer a phone call or check the front desk or do anything like that. Could legitimately be 30 minutes. Um, and I walk out with a nasty pump and I feel great afterwards. I hate the entire thing while it's happening, but like it gets the job done. I walk out and I have a nasty pump. My arms look like they're actually, some version of a bodybuilder for a day. So I like that, but I'm never going to say that I like training.
We'll
arms.
talk
That
about
fucking
it in a year.
sucks.
They'll be better, and then we'll
Yeah,
talk
that's what
about
I'm
it in a year.
saying. Wait till
That's
next
what I'm
year,
saying.
bro.
Process oriented. I'm turned around and at the end of the day, the goal is the goal. So I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck what I have to do right now.
Right.
Also, I say that I want to turn around and resemble Kevin LeBron. You don't have a fucking choice. There needs to be an arm day. Probably
Yeah,
should turn around and
bro.
be multiple arm days at that point. So
Yeah, I will just to share my own because I am one of these tall white guys that never had arms. And within the last year or so, I feel like pretty decent about how the arms finally look.
yeah.
the
I've
itis
done
is
it
gone.
all. What?
The itis is gone.
The itis is gone. I got that stamp of approval. So, dude, I used to do it all. Big part of it was that I would start legs with it because legs have always been a strong body part for me. So I would start legs with 4 sets of curls and 4 sets of push downs or whatever. That worked. It helped for sure. I would start, or even now, this is something that I'll do. Everyone always thinks, okay, I'm going to do curls at the end of push or tries at sorry, curls
Oh,
at
you
the end of
flipped them.
pull. Push tries at the end of push. I flipped it. So I will do
Yeah.
tries before pull and then I'll do curls before push. Like, because like you said, when you walk in and you're fresh with it, I am going to feel that right away.
Yeah.
And what I've landed on being best, at least for me, especially with where I am, because like what Mike talked about, man, there were times I was training some type of arm movement every time I was in the gym.
Yeah.
It helps. It helped get me off the ground level, but also eventually like you said, not only my elbows, but my shoulders and like where my biceps would attach to kind of like my pec and front delt were ruined. So I had to, at one point, I had to take a step back. What I've landed on now is exactly what you talked about, Luke. They have their own day. A lot of times it's with delts because I am a tall, skinny white guy. So I need
Yeah.
something that's going to help me look around. But then I will tack them either at the front or at the end of push
Yep.
or pull. So it's like they get a little sprinkled and then they have a day that they're main. So frequency is higher, but it's not like ridiculous. So yeah,
So
I think
that's a good point right there, though. On the smaller body parts, man, my opinion is frequency is king.
Yeah,
If
for
you can
sure.
if you can hit arms 5 days a week, dude, hit arms 5 days a week.
Same with like
right?
side delts, shit like
delts
that.
are the
Yeah.
same. Yeah,
Like the smaller
totally.
muscle groups are going to recover faster. They're not as heavier loads. They're not as taxing. Like if you can train more, do it. Right. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of like the more meaning like just add more sets to an individual day. But if that's where your total volume equation comes in paired with frequency, then fine. But the other thing I wanted to highlight too is like two things. I can almost guarantee for you guys listening that where I'm at in my career, I can get more out of a curl done at the end of a pull day than you can. Right? It's a skill. I have
Totally.
intensity of focus. I can get more out of it than you can. The second part, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but it means like understand like, is that really benefiting me if I can't do that? And the second thing is like, there's no rules here, guys. Like, we all grew up with like the idea of like, you shouldn't train your arms before you do, back because they're going to be strained. You could pull or tear something. Like, bro, if you are not arm dominant, I guarantee you can do curls before you row and pull
Yeah, good
and
for
nothing,
sure.
and you'll be fine. Right.
Yeah.
I think, Terrence Ruffins is doing it right now. He's training biceps and triceps before he does pull and push. There's no
Yeah.
fucking rules, man. You got to
Totally.
experiment with this and find out what works for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I have always found that too. Like there's not, like you're talking about training as a skill. I think back might be the most difficult to acquire skill wise. But once you have it, like all of us here, I think are skilled enough in training back that I could absolutely do my curls first. I've have very little crossover when I train my
Right.
back into my actual biceps or my forearms.
Yeah, me
like I've
too.
got it down now to where I don't really feel them. So if I needed to do that, I totally could.
Right.
All right, let's see. Like we were talking about, actually, Mike Novak gave you a shout out. We were talking about him earlier.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. A lot of recurring questions. A lot of guys asking about arms.
It's refreshing.
Trying to beat the itis.
Bunch of white
You know what?
dudes
I
in the
think
comments,
I think that might be the most like, at least in bodybuilding, it's the most commonly lacking group that I see now.
yeah,
Like when I go and see like amateur shows, yes, yeah, like guys have legs now. Guys will have some back, and it's like so often I see guys pull up in a front double, and it's like,
yeah.
man, train your arms.
At the very least, you don't see anyone and go, damn, that motherfucker got some arms. Like,
Right.
you'll see guys that
You'll
like
see
you
guys
said,
with
have
big ass legs and
back,
shit. Yes,
but very rarely do you see a motherfucker now and be like, oh shit, you know. I just think it's just become so unpopular. It's become the popular thing to not have an arm day, which is
Yeah.
weird because that was like the old school bro shit. That's what bodybuilding
bro. And
was
you go
built
look
on,
at
bro.
you go look at pictures or videos of the big competitive shows in the 80s and the 90s. Every guy had cannon arms.
Yeah,
It's a standout odd thing now if guys have
Yeah.
killer arms.
yeah.
This guy writes in and says, what do you guys think about active range of motion versus a full range of motion? For example, bearing a hack squat or leg press while losing some tension on the quads in favor of the adductors and glutes versus stopping just short to keep tension on the quads.
This is a big one for the science nerds.
I'd love to hear this. I would love to hear your opinion on this too.
I have
This is a
never
good one.
done a compound movement and thought like, oh shit, my adductors are doing some work here. Like not even fucking once did I worry about my quads doing the work in a hack squat. That's not the point of a compound movement. And you know, Luke mentioned it earlier, like you mentioned it too, Joe.
Yes,
like
yeah.
you're gonna get more out of a squat than out of a leg extension. If you only wanted to train quads, just go do 10 sets of leg extensions. But I promise you're gonna be smaller than the dude who does leg press, hack, squat, whatever else. I saw this. I forget who's. I was on Runvis. I think someone's like, "Hey, by the way, like when you go that deep in your hack squat, you're shifting some load to your adductors." Like, so what? Most of you motherfuckers don't get adductors either. So what are we talking about?
Bro, I had this conversation literally with the dude the other day. And you always got to remind people, bro, like in bodybuilding nowadays, especially with these kids, like everyone wants to isolate like one thing. Like the body was put together to work that way. The body is put together to
100%.
work together.
It's a system.
You know what I mean?
It's one system.
Yeah, it all works together. So like there's no world where you can train hard with heavy weight and somehow do a hack squat and only your quads work. It's just like retarded to even think about, right? And like Mike said, it's the same thing with like lateral raises. I personally love heavy dumbbell lateral raises with a little body English, kind of jerking them around, right? And people are, oh no, your traps, who fucking cares if my traps grow too? I don't.
I want them to grow.
I don't
delts
do
is a funny one.
shrugs, so
It's like-
I'll fucking rip this bitch and grow everything up here. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
Like,
and for
why
delts
would I be
especially-
like, I'm not gonna be like, no muscle on my trap. Like what?
know.
It's
for
retarded.
delts especially, it's like think about what the muscle does, right? Like your trap just elevates your shoulder. It doesn't do this.
Totally.
Right?
Exactly.
The only thing that does this is your lateral
Is
delt.
your delt.
So what the fuck do I care if this happens
Yeah.
while this happens?
While
I
this
That's
don't
my
care.
point.
Yes.
How about I
Yeah.
just build muscle everywhere and get fucking huge? I'll take that instead.
Right.
I don't
And
fucking
also,
care.
it's like this is why these kids are in the gym for 3.5 hours and have no physique.
Yes.
They think they need to individually. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
if I can cover the traps and the delts, all like I never directly train my traps, and they're
Yeah.
totally fine,
They're fine.
like in terms of development. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I don't think a lot of us do shrugs anymore, but between rows,
haven't
any
done a
sort of scapular retraction,
Totally.
we've all got fucking traps. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I get asked about Kelso shrugs all the time, and it's like, no, I don't do Kelso shrugs because I've been picking up heavy shit for 15 years, man. I don't need a fucking need a Kelso shrug.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I love
This
that
whole
you just said
idea-
that, dude. I went off on that on a video that I ended up deleting because I ended up saying something crazy. But I went off on it because someone was like, where do you program Kelso shrugs? And I was like, you have never seen a program that I put out that if you see Kelso shrugs on it, it didn't come from me. I have never once seen somebody do Kelso shrugs. And then like they did them all the time. And then a year later, they made a video and we're like, you know what? I
at my
can
back.
directly attribute the thickness of my upper back to a Kelso shrug.
Yeah.
Never once.
This
That's
idea
funny.
that like the only valuable work you can do is direct work on
Isolation.
the
Yeah.
muscle is horseshit, right? Like,
It's
dude,
retarded.
it might be a dumb comparison, but I don't think it is. Go look at the forearms or arms of any blue collar worker.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That motherfucker's not training to failure, but he's got forearms the size of his quads. Do you really think that your body looks at any work below failure and says, nah, that's not stimulus? Like, no, we all know that getting to failure, high mechanical tension is the primary factor, but it's not the only factor. So like, you're missing so much accumulated work if all you want to do is isolate an individual region of fibers on a piece of muscle. It's horseshit.
Let me ask you though, so that was one of my clients that asked that about the active range versus full range. And I think I know why. I have talked about, for me, my quads are like the one body part that have always been pretty good, or always been pretty responsive. And for a long time, I solely out of ego, I would do all my squats like to the floor, whether it was a hack squat, a barbell squat, whatever. That seemingly built big legs. But anytime I did a leg press, I would load it up as much as I could, and I would go to like 90 degrees, and I would do these continuous reps where I would never lock out, whatever. And earlier in the year, I was looking back at my pictures, and I had eventually moved on to the full range, super deep leg press where I'm, eating my kneecaps. And I'm looking at my pictures, maybe like, at the very beginning of the year. And I'm like, my leg now is no doubt bigger, but it looks like my sweep is less dramatic on a smaller leg. Why is that? And so I put it back in. I put like the half rep leg press back in. Dude, I will send you guys the pictures. No doubt the sweep is more dramatic. I feel it more there. Now, with that said, I am never going to advocate that someone only does like half reps or active range reps, because part of the whole equation is that I'm thinking about a leg workout like a big picture thing. Like I do extensions where I get my quad short. I do a hack squat to the floor where I get it long. And then I do this leg press where I just keep it kind of in this mid range, and it seems to really blow up my sweeps. So in a situation like that, do you think that that makes sense? And is there any room for situations like that where like guys say they feel it more?
So first of all, because I think part of this issue is misconstruing some definitions. And I want to make sure when we talk about this, we're clear with everybody that's listening. The actual definition of active versus full range of motion is about joints, not about muscle tissue. So when I use in my clients, if I use active range of motion, I mean, can you get there without load? So like if you can't get your ass to your ankles just doing a body weight squat, you probably should not go there with 10 plates on your back, right?
Yeah.
What they're talking about is a advantageous range of motion for a specific muscle group, which exists, right? Like at some point during a press or any movement, some muscle is being biased. Does that mean that you shouldn't bias it? No. Like if you say, okay, the rest of my legs are great, I got massive adductors, my glutes are fucking dialed, like, all right, then maybe you need to focus some time on doing something that is more purely quad focused, which, like you said, keeping tension just on the quads versus a ton of hip flexion in a deep leg press, maybe that makes sense, right? But just make sure you get your definitions right, because I know we all love this science terminology, and everyone likes to throw big words around when they're talking about this shit, like they know something, but those are very different things.
Yeah, that's a good way to decipher the two.
Yeah,
a good caveat. Like when does each make sense? That was kind of what I was trying to get out of it.
There's no rules, man, right? Like you found something that works for you.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes to me and says, hey man, like, I know you said do this, but I abbreviated my range of motion and like look at my quads over 3 weeks, I'm not going to argue with you. I want results. I don't want to be right.
Totally.
Okay. So like maybe I'll help you program that more intelligently so you get more out of it. But if that's what works, then fucking do it. I mean, there's tons of videos of Phil Heath doing half squats, and he had massive fucking quads. So who am I?
I see most of those guys do, bro. Sean Roden's hack squats and stuff. I was like, what the
bro?
fuck?
And his quads were some of the wildest, dude.
I know.
Like so billowed from lock his legs out, stand straight front, and it was billowed crazy. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. This is, you know what? The three of you, I don't know that I could pick a better trio to ask this specific question. This guy writes in and it says, if all of you, each one of you give an answer, if all of you could only do 4 back movements for the rest of your career, what would they be and why? He said
Or-
bonus points if you include the names of like specific equipment.
Are we starting from scratch, like starting over, or is this where we are
My
now?
my whole back workout's pretty much 4 movements.
Yes.
And I'm gonna probably just say what my back workout is pretty much.
That's how I felt about it too. But all three of you guys have killer backs, so I want to hear what each of you have to say and why. Yeah, like knowing what you know now, Josh. If you started over 10 years ago, but you knew what you knew now, what would you do to build it?
I've obviously spoken on here before. I'm a big advocate. I like in every back day, despite all the pretty machines we have nowadays, I do like one heavy old school compound movement. For me, it's a barbell row. And I like to program that like smack in the middle of the session. So
Okay.
like what I do is I will start with like a unilateral pull down to target my lats that
Yeah.
really overloads like that shortened range, obviously when I'm fresher,
Yeah.
to get a lot of blood there to kind of turn everything on. What I've been doing, if you want machine names and stuff,
Yeah.
is
Name it. Yeah.
that
What do you
new
like?
tech,
Okay.
that new tech, Mike, I think you've used it, the one that's like out here that pulls
Yeah, I
straight down.
forget what
this
it's
way.
called, but the vertical pull down they
Yeah,
have.
it's I don't know what the fucking name of it is,
Torture.
but yeah, but it's
You
really
could
good.
use
So-
it bilaterally, right? It's like a horn.
yeah,
at the
you
front.
could.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way that it's set up with like the supports and stuff, you can brace really well and like really just overload. I like doing a single arm a lot better. So I'll go there. Then I might go to an upper back row first, like a chest
Okay.
support upper back row, like a Mega Mass row or the new tech one that we have at Champs.
Okay.
And then I'll do a barbell row or I'll barbell row and then upper back row. Those are interchangeable. And then
Okay.
I'll finish with a single arm lat row. So I have
Okay.
a vertical pull, I have a compound, I have an upper back row, I have a lat row.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I structure it all. Sometimes the
What do you do the
machines
row
can
on?
change.
What
The lat
do you
row?
like? Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what some of the name of some of these new tech machines are, but I've been doing
Okay. All right.
like there's one actually I do this one a lot. There's a new tech, like it's basically like a dumbbell row. Um,
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
has a support, you know what I'm talking about, Mike? Like it has a support in front of you for your hand and then a free
Mm.
That
Okay.
machine's
handles
actually
here.
really, really good because you can get so much out of it. You can row in
Yeah.
any plane you want.
Yeah,
And
you
all
can
it
use
is
it for everything.
all it is 2 arms on a pivot with a brace,
Yeah,
basically
and a
brace in the
brace.
middle.
So you can kind of maneuver it how it fits your body, things like that. So I've been doing that a lot. But like for machines that more people have access to, even just an old school like hammer strength chest supported row, like the one with the pad and the vertical handle,
Yeah.
or I really like the Nautilus, the Nautilus drive,
Yeah.
whatever
Explode.
row, whatever
Yeah, yeah.
explode, yeah. Just anything where you can really lock that shoulder down into place and drive the elbow
Totally.
in hard. I mean, you could do a cable, doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Yeah. Josh, hit me. Big back.
Big bag.
Stiff leg deadlift. That's one.
Okay.
And they
T-bar rows too. Bro, I love
Like Ronnie
deadlifting. That's
or
my-
like chest supported?
no chest supported.
Okay.
I'm snapping my shit if you give me a barbell. Single arm cable row and
Okay. Like for
wide
lats,
grip.
you're saying, or
and then a
Okay.
wide grip pull down.
okay. All right.
I think the biggest thing, sorry to cut before you go, Mike.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with this stuff is just finding exercises, machines, whatever that you like, but just checking boxes with different movement patterns. Like
Totally.
you need some sort of vertical pull, you need some sort of lat focus row, something that's more upper back loaded, maybe something that loads the erectors, like Josh likes a stiff leg, I like a barbell row. Like just check those boxes and then it's preference after that, pretty much.
I'm gonna add some nuance where the question asker did not ask for it.
Yeah.
I think this conversation changes the more advanced you get. Because I'm a firm believer in, especially earlier on in your career, doing heavy, like lower back loaded stuff. So I will have new guys deadlift their fucking asses off. I built my erectors very early in my career. I don't deadlift anymore because if I did, I'd probably break myself. But I built that by doing heavy shit over and over and over again, primarily deadlifts, primarily rows. I don't do that stuff anymore. But when you're early on, I think it's critical to build that density. Like there's a lot of guys that have good backs, but have nothing on the lower back and it just looks hollow.
Mhm.
And if you've never built that, doing all this chest supported machine shit is not going to do that for you. So when you're early on, I think there's some big value in a heavy barbell row, heavy conventional deadlifts, heavy stiff-legged deadlifts, that sort of thing. And then as you get more advanced, that stuff can probably drop off. So what my back days look like now is very similar to Luke. I go in and I load the lat somewhere overhead. Doesn't matter if it's a high row or a vertical pull. Then I go to a chest supported row, like usually it's a T-bar or something similar. Then I'm a big fan of unilateral cable lat pullovers. Very difficult movement to do well. But if you can do that, there's nothing more pure as far as a lat contraction goes than a unilateral cable or even a machine pullover. And then I'll do my vertical pull for upper middle back. And if it's a pure back day, maybe I throw in something else. But the key, and I know they asked about specific machines, but it's really not about specific machines. It's about movement patterns and finding what fits you. Like there are some, for the most part, New Tech fits me all very well. But there are some great fucking back machines that I'm like, I don't get a goddamn thing out of this. Like I can't get everything aligned where it needs to be to train my lats or
and that's
get a good upper back pull.
That's why I said that about movement patterns, because for me, like I know the guy, like people want to know like what machines and yada yada, but like sometimes I'll just be like, nah, for my upper back row today, I'm gonna do this instead because it feels good. But it's the same exact
You know
movement
how your
pattern.
body is supposed to move. That's why.
Exactly, yeah. But like I want people to understand that like you can take you can take any machine like the one I just talked about, or even dumbbells or whatever, and you can make that an upper back row or lat row. You know what I mean? It's
Totally.
all about body position, elbow drive. So it's really just the movement patterns that matter. And then like whatever machines you have access to, if you can find a machine that, supports your chest and you get really good, a full stretch and you contract hard and through your upper back, through your scapula, whatever, run that for your upper back row. If you don't, then do it on with dumbbells on a bench or whatever. It doesn't really matter that. It just matters that you're going through that movement pattern and you can feel the actual target muscle doing something. But
I go as far as even when I'm programming somebody, I almost, aside from very few specific instances, I don't even give them specific like exercises. I give them a movement pattern. I say, okay, I want this to be a vertical pull for lats.
Yes.
So show me what you have in your gym. And if it fits, I'll help you make it better.
Bro,
But
I'll literally say like lat row variation of choice.
Of choice.
Like, I don't really know like what they have or what they want or what works. So
the mechanics of the muscle, like you can't beat them, right? Like muscle groups are designed to do what they're supposed to do. As long as you can find that, it doesn't matter what machine, what dumbbell row variation you're doing. It's going to work so long as you spend some time getting it set up correctly and executing correctly, and obviously being intense enough.
Yeah. I don't have the back that you three do, but I'll give you mine. Very similar to what you guys said. I need more lower lat. I know the science says that doesn't even exist, but I need more of it.
Absolutely exists. Listen to me. Hold on. Pause. I can't stand this shit. Listen, especially for big muscles that are like more like fan-like a pec, like a lat.
Yep.
You can 100% not isolate, but bias a region that is parallel to fibers.
Totally.
You can't isolate inner chest or inner lat or outer lat. You can absolutely isolate lower pec or upper lat or lower lat 100%. And you can feel it if you're experienced enough. And then if I do like a T-bar row with the handles a little bit lower, I can feel my upper lat working. But because of where my elbow traveled, it's impossible for my lower lat to be doing a bunch of the work. I can then go do a vertical pull down or a high row where my elbow ends up literally in my pocket. And I can tell you that is mostly lower lat because it is pulling my shoulder and elbow low
down.
So the lower region of your lat is going to do that work. You can 100% bias that stuff. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at like, when someone's sliced or like anatomy chart, like how do they run? Like if you are moving in that direction of how they run, like, that's going to be, is there other stuff? Yes. But is that going to be the main driver? I think yes. But anyway, so I need more of that for sure. So I'm doing all my lat stuff first. So and for me, I just don't, it never feels the same if I try to do both at the same time. So the majority of my back workout, I'm doing single arm lat shit. So I go in and I like a row first. I like it, whatever, on a cable. the like upright seated prime machine. I like that a ton because you can like angle the chest pad so you're almost in an flexion a little bit more, like adjust the seat so that it's high enough. So lat row, and then I like lat pull down. All of them, I might do 3 sets of each, so that's 3 sets on each side for both. Then I'll do my like upper back chest supported row. If I had to pick one, I like the original like Nebula Humbler that Arsenal kind of knocked off.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, dude, everyone loves this like new Mega Mass, like chest supported T-bar row, dude. And I have a pretty good understanding of how it all is supposed to feel. For whatever reason, I get on that thing and I'm like, this thing kind of sucks for me. Like, I get it might be great for everybody else. I don't know. I get on it. I feel like I can't breathe. I know where my sternum should be, like on all these other chest machines.
So what's funny, like my back has always been one of my better body parts.
Totally.
But my upper back, I've actually struggled to connect. My lats I can connect with in my fucking sleep. But my upper back, I've had to kind of learn how to really feel. And my old gym back in Connecticut,
you need Kelso shrugs.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm missing, bro. But like my old gym back in Connecticut had the Arsenal T-bar, which, like you said, the Nebula, same one. I mean, it's the knockoff version, but yeah,
love it.
And I couldn't make it work.
Yeah,
it was like I would try to, and like I would feel it as I was warming up, but once I got to a certain amount of weight, I just would lose it. And it wasn't like, oh, well, then just go lighter. Like the weight that I could feel it on was like ridiculous, so that it would have been doing sets of like 25. So like once I got past a certain point, I would lose it every time. The Mega Mass row for me is effortless. Like the way the bar path is,
it's a great piece. I see that it's
works
put together great. It just I get on it, and for whatever reason, I'm like, man.
It doesn't have a ton of adjustment points, so like it's kind of one of those ones that like it works for you or it doesn't.
The new tech one has now a ton of adjustments,
bro.
Right?
Like, so many, and honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out because I like you talked about not being able to breathe, Joe. Like I'm trying to figure out where to put this fucking pad because the pad can shift this way, it can shift back and forth. The leg things can move, the handles. It's like so much shit where I'm like. I would need a fucking piece of paper to write down every single fucking thing. But like, that's a huge limiting factor on a lot of upper back rows for me is the breathing, dude.
Totally. Like and you know what? Part of you nailed it earlier, Mike. Part of why I probably enjoy that style of back piece so much is because it's got the handles that swivel and I can adjust them because my elbows are beat up from pursuing big arms for 10 years.
The T-bar is actually a good example because I don't like almost any T-bar on the market. They just don't fit me. I'm a shorter guy. They just don't fit me. The only one that I've ever had any success with is the Watson because it has an adjustable foot pad.
Dude, that's one for me.
You can adjust the width and the handle swivel. So like when we talk about specific machines, guys, I can't in good faith give you a workout with specific machines and guarantee you it's going to work for you, especially for back. You guys got to go experiment with what feels the best, right? With what lets you move. And I don't mean feel as in you feel the muscle the most. I mean, what lets you move the most organically. And a lot of these, the downfall of machines is the fixed bar path where like a T-bar only moves one way. If that arc is too, like if the distance between the pivot and the handles is too short, that arc is going to be very exaggerated. It's going to move through, the lateral movement of the handles from top to bottom is going to be very far comparatively to something with a very long pivot, right? So maybe that works for you, or maybe it's absolute shit. You guys need to experiment with that, figure it out.
But this is also why I like to throw in personally like a compound movement, like a barbell row too, into my back days, because the other movements are all on that fixed pattern, that fixed bar path. And then when I do a barbell row, I can move with the weight and drive exactly where, like for me, what feels good. And it's very fluid. It's very like natural. And so I think there's value in that too, not just being forced to be stuck to the patterns of certain machines.
Yep.
Plus, if you go to another gym, oh, sorry, Josh, go ahead.
That's why I chose all cables, because a single arm cable row, it can move with you. A wide grip pulled out, like we said, we were starting over here. It's like starting fresh. I'm going to find what works in that movement pattern for me with a cable. as opposed to I have the prime row. I don't feel like looking over all the fucking plates for it. 'Cause we got
What,
the
the
skinny
extreme
plates.
row?
Yeah.
No, the upright row.
Dude, even the
I
extreme
want-
row, dude, I love it. And I'm like, do I want to put fucking 5 plates aside on this thing? I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't.
Like I could turn around and go and get the Mega Max row. I'm not going to do it because the hoist seated T-bar row that's fucking 70 years old that's sitting over there is going to turn around and move a lot better for everyone in here, even though the Mega Max one looks cool. So
Yeah.
like that's all of my back movements are going to be things that are not on fixed planes if I'm starting over. I got to find my lats first. I got to find my upper back first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To finish, I'm doing like a rope cable pullover. And I'm going to I really try and like hinge almost to the point that my chest is almost parallel to the floor. So it's
Yeah.
like heavy where I'm stretched like fully.
Yeah.
I'm almost trying to replicate a pullover machine, but
Yeah, I do
I
the
don't-
same thing.
I don't love how even like the Dorian version, like our gym has like the Dorian Nautilus one, and it's like
Yeah.
everyone swears by it.
Dog,
That
I
doesn't feel
cannot
good on me.
fit in any of those fucking
Bro,
machines.
Yeah.
First of all, yeah, when you get to a certain size, I don't know how the fuck Dorian got shoehorned into
Yeah,
that.
I try,
Dude.
bro. I try so hard because it's so like nostalgic, like the Dorian fucking.
I
I
just-
wanted to
The
dude,
chain
do it,
drive and all that shit.
bro. And I
Right?
get in there and I'm like literally like,
Bro, I'm
Fucking-
playing the YouTube videos of Leroy screaming in his face and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm building some lats today. I have no idea how he fit it. He was 330 pounds.
I know.
Yeah. I think people love that machine so much just for the fact that it's Dorian. It's
nostalgic.
like legendary.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But like those pullover machines, especially, like I think the best one I've used is Panada because it's very adjustable.
I haven't
But if
gotten
that
to use it,
machine
but
doesn't fit you, you're not growing lats. It is going to
Yeah,
be almost all teres because you're not going to
Terry's,
get
yes.
you're not going to get the range of motion you need to get your lats targeted. And once you get to a certain width, too, like you said, Joe, most of my back work, especially for lats, is unilateral because on any machine, I need to get over here
Yes.
to get it to come across my body.
Totally. Yep.
If you can't do that with a bilateral movement, then fucking don't do it. Right? Like, you need to know what the lat does. Same thing as the pec.
Yes.
Your pec's going to use your rib cage as leverage. Your lat wants to do the same, just in the opposite direction. Right? So
Yes.
where's optimal? It's probably slightly cross body
Across
down to
here.
down to your
Yep.
shoulder, down to your waist.
Yep.
You
Totally.
don't force yourself into these movement patterns just because you think you need to do them. There is like not a single necessity anywhere in bodybuilding. You can
Yeah.
replace almost anything.
Yeah.
For
There's no
sure.
rules. Okay. Maybe one more and we'll go. Okay, here's one kind of just a real life theory one. Do you think that higher volume training, if you're able to recover from it, changes the look of the muscle?
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. I would say so.
I think-
I haven't figured it out for myself. Like I can't figure out how to train high volume and it be effective. I get really flat when I do, to be honest. A lot of guys, like obviously the higher volume crowd typically is rounder, and that's kind of the thing. It's like a more voluminous looking muscle. And that's what I would say the look is guys that do typically train higher volume are usually a little more 3D and round, but the guys that are lower volume are a lot denser and thicker.
I would
For
say you're
me-
pretty fucking round though, dude.
Yeah, well, maybe I guess it's just growth hormone and just luck. But
Hell
like,
yeah.
but
Now we're
like,
talking.
but like, I don't when I start to really try that because I've had periods of time, maybe I haven't stuck with it long enough. I don't know, but like for me, and I've talked about this before, even like pumping up backstage, bro. Like I get my best pumps with like heavy weight to failure, like not super high rep either. So like I don't do well with like volumey, pumpy band work. I like getting a pump. I'll do this for a second and then I'll just flatten the fuck out. And there's something just about for me personally that I just haven't figured out with that. But I think generally speaking, you can almost look at somebody's physique and have an idea of the way that they train. For the most part.
I agree with that, but then when I do it, I'm like, how come I don't look rounder?
You
Yeah.
need more melanin.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a keep it a buck with you. Some of us were out here chasing gazelles. Some of us were in the mountains. Do I believe when you look at Sean Ray, right? Sean Ray and I'm going to put Kevin in there. And you look at all those guys who are sitting there
Flex.
doing the high volume with Charles Glass, and then you look at Dorian. There's a different look to the
All right.
muscle.
Well, let's.
You look at Samson. You look at fucking Andrew. Right? They're training higher volume. You turn around and you look at Branch. Right? And Branch had a little bit of higher volume, but there was a graininess that nobody else had.
Yeah, but
So
look at
the
somebody
more
like
melanin you
Martin.
got,
Martin's
Martin Black, bro.
see-through white, bro.
Martin's attitude sure as shit ain't fucking white.
Crazy. That's crazy. Damn.
There are
but
certain
don't
guys who
be
it works for,
careful.
like Crizzo too.
Be careful with
Yeah.
the Charles Glass thing because those guys were around for a different reason.
True.
So a whole lot of SEO going. Those dudes, bro.
Yeah, but like, yeah, we've seen it now. I mean, shit. I'm gonna just throw Kyrie in there, right? Kyrie is round as fuck.
Well,
And, like-
he certainly looks one of the things that I was going to say is that it does seem like if there is ever a time to do it, it's if you are not normally that type of trainer and then post show you try it,
Yeah.
it does seem like there's something extra about it. I'm
Yeah.
just observing in real life. It could be total fucking nonsense, but I've
Yeah,
seen
this
this
is
a
one of
handful
those-
of times now.
This is one of those things where the science people are probably going to crucify us.
Oh, dude,
because
they've turned it
this
off.
is
They turned it off
fucking-
40 minutes ago, dude.
Yeah, this makes no sense, but like it just is what it is. It's like it just seems to be that
Yeah.
people that train a certain way have a certain look.
Okay. I lied. One more. Do you think that there is if training is good, that there is an upper limit to volume?
What do
Yes,
you mean?
always.
What do you mean? Yeah,
There's
of
always
course.
an upper limit. We
Hey,
had
what do
this
you mean if
discussion,
training is good?
like if
No,
your
sorry.
execution's on point.
I meant recovery. Did I say training?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
okay.
I meant recovery. So this
Okay.
guy is saying like no matter what, he recovers well. I guess he's asking basically, is there an upper limit to like a net positive return? Like, should he
So-
just keep going?
I would anyone who asks that question, first of all, I want to see your training first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting that aside, there is 100% an upper limit somewhere, but it's not purely based on volume, right? There's three factors there. There's volume, there's frequency, and there's intensity. For any given amount of intensity, there will be or intensity and frequency, or whatever knob you want to turn. There's going to be an upper limit, right? There's going to be something at some point which you cannot recover from. Now, maybe you can pick less taxing movements to bring the ceiling up, but there's always going to be a fucking limit. And if you're someone who just like is never sore, can always recover. First of all, I don't think soreness is a great indicator of recovery, but if you think you can just train indefinitely with unlimited volume, I think you're probably missing a piece in there.
I would agree.
And this changes all the time, right? Like we all know you're close to a show. You're not doing 30 sets. My working sets go from like somewhere 12 to 14 a day down to like 6 before a show. Cause the shit's gone. I can't do it anymore. I get the work I need to when I get out. Post show or in a rebound or in, coming up in off season, I might be able to go from 2 sets of movement to 3 sets of movement, but there's going to be a limit. Can I do 4? I don't know. Maybe. I haven't tried it, but there's definitely a limit. And if you're thinking that this runway is indefinite, there's something missing.
I mean, bro, just try. It's just not realistic. Then that's just
Yes.
that same thought process. Then therefore would apply to everything, and it'd just be insane. Like you can't just keep doing more. The only time I ever thought that was when I was 20 or 21 years old and I took my first cycle. I was like, I'll be in the gym for 3 hours every day and I can't fucking stop, bro. But like real quickly you learn that that's just an insane thought process to think that like there would be no upper limit. Like you can't just keep going. You're gonna fucking and like Mike said, show me your training, bro. Like let me see what one of your sets looks like.
That's the first thing I
Because-
ask anytime I get somebody and they're like, I do 30 sets of workout. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need you to film every working set that you do
Yeah.
and send it to me because there's just no fucking
Yeah.
way. Or when people say that they train 6 days a week, I feel
Yeah.
great. I love to go to
Yeah.
the gym. I'm
Yeah.
like, you train like a wuss, don't you?
Yeah.
Which like, listen, you can get huge, never approaching failure doing a ton of volume,
Totally.
but intensity and volume are linked, right? So
yes.
the max volume you can do training the way I train, the way Luke trains, fucking Dorian, whoever, is going to be way lower than the volume you could do if you're doing 12 to 15 sets, 3 to 4 sets of movement, never reaching failure, just getting a nasty pump. Like it's a sliding scale. It's not always 1-to-1, right? And actually one of the tricks that I use with new trainees is like, yeah, I want you to approach failure, but if I look at your sets and like that wasn't anywhere close, I'll throw you another set or two because we need to create the stimulus somehow, and you haven't learned how to fail yet. I guarantee if you learn how to fail on 10 to 12 sets a day, 5 days a week, you're going to fucking grow.
That's it.
And you're going to be sore, and you're going to like to have rest days.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Josh, anything?
I think they covered most of it, but
Yeah.
I don't really have anything productive to add there.
Okay.
But like Luke,
Fair
we
enough.
talked about this on the last podcast, right? Like you're real about finding your limits and doing more.
More
like
is
that
more,
applies
baby.
to all of it, right? Like it is at some point. Like if you can recover from it, why the fuck wouldn't you do more?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that
you
was
should be testing that limit.
to be fair to the guy that asked. I think that's kind of what he was like. He wanted to hear our thoughts and he wanted to get us talking. He knows that this is a panel
I'll
that
say
we're going to
this,
talk
like-
about training, you know.
I'll say this. I do not listen to people like we talked about several times on this podcast. Everyone keeps saying there are no rules, right? And you're going to see so many people online that are saying, oh, you only need X amount of sets for this body part and Y amount of sets for this one. Dude, whatever you do, don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Whatever you do. Figure
Like,
it out
yo,
figure it out for yourself. Like you try that. And if you feel like, even if you do train like a bitch, like Mike said, intensity and volume are linked. Let's say you train soft as hell, then you can afford more volume. So
Totally.
do more then, right? Like a lot of my new clients, right? Like my leg days, bro, I'll be in the gym for 90 minutes to 2 hours. I'm on the fucking floor by the time I leave. My total volume, like working set volume, is like 9 sets.
8 sets. Yeah.
Right. And like if I gave a new client of mine a 9-set leg workout, they'd finish in 25 minutes. And they'd say that was so easy. Right.
Dude, I've had people write back. They're like, what? This is half of what I normally do.
Like,
this isn't going to be very difficult.
More than this. Right?
This isn't going to be difficult at all.
Yeah. So like those people, for example, I'm not giving them my 9-set leg workout. I'm giving them a 18-set leg workout.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So even if you do train like a bitch, then try more sets, try more volume, try something until you feel that feeling that Mike just referred to, that you are sore, you are on that limit of recovery, and you do want your rest days.
Yes.
But like you have to push. That's the same conversation you had. Like with everything, you have to find that for yourself.
Go find it for yourself, dude.
Yes,
Run
bro.
face first into it, and then you're gonna know.
Try to
I
overtrain. Literally try to overtrain, and then you'll know where it is for you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I was Icarus for the longest, bro.
Yeah.
I was flying way too close to the sun. Like with Spanish Drano, I was doing 31 set leg days twice a week. And
Twice a week?
I was not. Yes, bro. 31 set leg days. Yes, that does.
Bro, I
include
drove all the
calves,
way
and
up.
does include-
Dude, I went home for Christmas. I drove all the way up to his gym. I'm like, bro, we need to tighten this the fuck up. What are we like? I need to see what you're doing in person. I drove all the way up there, 2 hours. We get it's 8 sets or 9 sets. He at the end, he's like, is this it? Is this all really? This is all we're gonna do? I'm like, bro, do this for the
train like no
do
chump
this.
bitch.
I'm like, do this for the next 6 months, every leg day, and tell me what happens. And then he gets on stage, and his legs are his best body part, and he wins a pro card.
I wasn't out
No,
here
he was
training
killing
like no chump
himself.
bitch
No, he
either.
was
Like,
killing himself for 31. It was too. He ran face first into what was too much, and then kept running.
Didn't stop.
So he was
Like,
one of the few examples that it was like, I need to teach you. You've already got all the effort and will. I need to actually pull you back. It's one of the few cases.
62 sets of legs per
Bro,
week.
he thought that he
is
would
crazy.
need like he just had a mentality that if he didn't need like borderline need a structure to leave the gym, it wasn't adequate. Like it was almost
I respect the shit out of it.
I respect it. It just didn't work though. Like we were talking about earlier, like if you know what, if you can tack on 3 sets of curls after pull and you grow 22-inch arms, then don't fucking change a thing. That is for you. But if it didn't happen, something must change.
Right. Yep. We said this on another podcast though, and I actually talked with this kid at my gym yesterday, new client of mine, about this same thing. And it's that like this kid trains like honestly, he trains like a fucking retard, but he trains hard as fuck.
Yeah.
He trains like a
He'll be
retard. He
big.
has
He'll
no
get
idea what
big.
he's doing. He is not, he trains twice a day, 7 days a week. No idea what he's doing. He's 22 years old. No idea what he's doing. He squats 4 plates, his knees cave in and touch each other. But like
Oh.
he's fucking grinding, bro. Like he's hustling. And I told him, I said, we got a lot to work on here.
I respect
would-
it though.
I would take somebody that has drive and desire and intensity
Totally.
because you cannot teach that shit.
You can't instill
either,
it. Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. I'd rather
Totally.
take somebody that's all fucked up like you with all of that shit and just
Totally.
channel that energy and that effort to the right areas and teach you as a coach where to apply that effort versus
Totally.
just running through the fucking wall and keep
I
running,
would
right?
100% rather work with somebody I need to pull back than somebody I need to
Yes.
push every
100%.
single day. of
Because
the
you
week.
can't teach that shit and you know
Especially
when you're not-
remotely.
Yeah, when
It's
you
like
know when you're
very
not
difficult.
there, yeah, you know when you're not there, they're fucking sandbagging.
Totally.
And it's all the time. It's all the time. And then I'll even have these guys send me training videos, and I can see in the training video, it's like performative failure. It's like
Yes.
they're like getting close to failure, and they're like acting like it's so hard. And I'm like, bro, your rep speed was the same as your first rep.
Yes.
I'm like, you got 4 more easy. You know what I mean? I don't care how much you're shaking and screaming. Like I'm
Bro,
watching
this
the
era
weight
of
go
young men,
from-
I'm sorry, they have perfected performative failure.
Yeah, bro. You
It's
see these
weird.
kids, bro. You see these
It's
fucking
weird.
kids. You see these kids on like a single arm tricep push down. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody does that. Like, it either moves or it doesn't move.
It's like, bro,
I'm like-
flex your
Losing the
fucking
war.
core. Why are you such
yeah,
a
I'm
shaky
like,
bitch?
why are the
What
whole
fuck?
fucking cable stack is shaking and you look like you're gonna cry? It's a fucking 20-pound tricep extension. If it doesn't
Crazy.
go down, you failed. It's that simple.
That's it. Yeah. All right. Good spot to leave it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for making the time. For the 3 pros, I'm the average Joe. This was the One More Rep podcast. And until next time, guys, we are out.